and welcome to the back page. I'm your host, Liz B. Today, we'll be discussing Scenery Persuade's Dookie. The story, set in Guyana, chronicles the marriage of Dookie and Shira. When the couple decided to get married, their families were very much against it because Dookie was Hindu and Shira was Muslim. But the couple decided to get married anyways. They ran off to another part of Guyana and embarked on a wonderful life there until Dookie's political activism forced them to leave Guyana and instead go to Canada. While in Canada, Shira discovered the feminist movement. She began to wear different clothes and really embrace these ideas. This was only heightened by the fact that because Dookie couldn't find a job, Shira was the sole breadwinner in the family. This put a huge strain on their marriage and began the discussion of whether Dookie was a misogynist or Shira was just in too deep with feminism. By the end of the story, the couple just couldn't get past their contrasting ideas and divorced. On this show, we like to dive into the themes of stories such as this. We like to find people who truly embrace the themes of the story and use it to change the world around them. The first guest I'd like to introduce today is known for their traditional ideas of gender roles and supports the ideas Dookie portrayed throughout the story. Please welcome Philippe Dinglehopper. Our next guest comes from a very different background and is here to support the ideas that Shira portrayed throughout the story, as well as the feminist movement itself. Please welcome Raina Leeson. It's an honor to have you both here, so let's begin our discussion. So Philippe, do you think that Dookie is a misogynist?
I believe Dookie is not a misogynist. Looking back on Dookie's actions throughout the story, he never showed any sign of despising women. He held firm in his beliefs that women have certain roles in society just as men do, even if they are different. Don't get me wrong, this isn't Dookie hating on women. It's just him trying to maintain the viewpoints that he was raised to know.
Raina, as a person who identifies with Shira, how do you view Dookie's actions?
Well, I do think that his side was necessary to get Shira to formulate her thoughts on what it truly means to be a feminist. I think that he was also unwilling to accept that Shira was capable of becoming her own person. I don't think that it helped that they fought over it all the time, but it was his view that when they married that he would be her provider and she would come to depend on him. That was how he grew up that was what he grew up seeing, and that was how he expected his marriage to be. The opposite proved to be true, however, when they moved to Canada and Shira furthered her education and began to pull more weight in their household. I wouldn't say he was highly resentful, but he also didn't accept the changes. It was his unwillingness to accept that the new Shira that led to the eventual departure.
Raina, do you think Shira was always a feminist, or do you think the situation she was put in while in Canada brought out those ideas in her?
I don't know about her always being a feminist. The step that she took into marrying Dookie without her parents' approval definitely points at her being capable of making her own decisions, even though at the time it would be against everything that their society stood for. Before they moved, I believe that she had accepted the fact that she wouldn't, or that she had no other options. She didn't begin to solidify her opinions on the matter until Canada, because it would be the change of scenery that prompted her to be brave enough to make the changes and pursue what it meant to be a feminist.
Philippe, how do you view Shira's sudden decision to take on these feminist ideas?
I think that Shira was ungrateful for what she had. She quickly decided to take after Dookie's aunt and go up to the feminist beliefs, but she never stopped for a moment to think about all that Dookie did for her. Dookie provided for Shira and helped her to get an education, yet she simply took what she gave him and began to demand that he help with the cooking and cleaning because she became too busy with her ideas. Shira never considered that Dookie was doing all he could for her in providing for her and wanting to start a family with her. She could have at least stopped for a moment and thought about what she was doing to Dookie while he was trying to give her a life.
Philippe, what do you think of Dookie leaving Shira at the end due to their differing ideas?
I think Dookie's decision to leave Shira was justified. He wanted to provide for her and give her a family, but she shrugged it off in favor of radical feminism and attacking Dookie for doing what he was raised to believe. Why would Dookie choose to stay with a woman who would only complete complain about him not doing anything and then not having sex with him when he only wants to start a family and build a life with her. No one would want to live like that, so I can see why Dookie left her.
Raina, what about you? Do you think that Shira would have left Dookie at the end, had he not left her first?
Yes, because she could see herself growing as a person. However, she could not see herself growing with Dookie. The more she tried to show him her newfound beliefs, and the more he challenged or disregarded them, the more frustrated she became. She loved him in the beginning, loved him enough to marry him and give up her family, and to later move from the country. But much as she was willing to change for him, he was not as willing to change for her. He more or less indulged her, if not sometimes ignored or blamed her emerging feminist ideas on the changes in their marriage, and I think that she could see that. I don't think that she was upset that he left first, as she acknowledged that if Dookie stayed static while she continued to grow, that the relationship would go nowhere. Somewhere along the way, their relationship just stopped being about each other. If she had stayed with him or held on to him, then she would have to eventually acknowledge that she was not as strong as she was trying to become.
Philippe and Raina, I want to thank you both so much for coming in and joining in our discussion.
Thank you for having us today.
And to our viewers back home, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on The Back Page with Liz B.